A former bureaucrat, a former Trinamool Congress MP, Jawhar Sircar, recently wrote a hard-hitting letter to Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee deciding to not just quit the party but quit politics altogether over the RG incident. Joining me now is Jawhar Sircar. Thank you for speaking to the Prince, sir. So my first question to you is, at this point, do you feel the government could have handled this entire episode of RG Court that is being closely watched across the country differently?
Yes, I made it clear in my letter that this issue should have been handled much better by by the hospital administration in the first case, the police that came in at the second place, and nobody talks about it, by the secretariat in the third place, the ministry in the third place. So there could be better handling of this issue, but this has snowballed into a major controversy now.
Why did you feel delusioned? You've been a former bureaucrat. You've served as a civil servant for 42 years, according to your bio on social media, and you've seen the system very closely while you were in service, and then you decided to join politics. And why did you feel delusioned? Were there attempts made by you to change the working within the party? Because you have stated that you were delusioned by the way corruption and muscle flexing by certain leaders within the party was, showcased.
See, I have also written that the scale of corruption in Bengal is far less than what happens in other states. So the disillusionment with corruption is an all India phenomenon. The senators and congressmen in the US were indicted very recently for accepting gold bars. So it's not a national disease, it's international. Now, having known all this, I didn't join politics, so to say, as you put it. I was invited to join the Rajya Sabha as a supported member, supported by the TMC, which I did accept. I accepted fully well the fact that the Ganga that I'm plunging into in Calcutta is pretty dirty. There are lots of things floating around, and it's not the best of things. I was not expecting a chlorinated swimming pool. I knew it was dirty. I knew it is a dirty thing, but I had two very solid reasons for taking the plunge. The first is that the line which the Trinamool Congress has taken all along is fiercely secular. There's a difference between secular and being fiercely, aggressively secular. It is the most aggressively secular party. It has made no compromises on that score and fiercely protective of the minority. Okay. So there it matches what I call my ideology, and they are the best fighters where Narendra Modi and Amit Shah are concerned. So there, that was one. The second was that I was writing a lot at that time. I was speaking a lot in various fora. And I said that if I get a chance to speak in Parliament, maybe I'd be able to catch the attention of the ruling establishment more effectively. Now, having worked for 3 years, I've understood that this is also full of limitations. There are trade-offs when you join politics. You have to stomach a lot of things. So I did stomach. In every organization, when you go to school, also you have to go through a discipline. So everywhere there's a discipline, there's a structure, there are impositions. I've taken it all. And after 3 years, I felt that it is time to leave. I need not complete my full term. As you know, even the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court jumped when he got an opportunity to join the Rajya Sabha. Many editors are dying to join, and many have joined. So it's a very lucrative sort of a thing. But I said, I need to give some shock therapy to the party. The shock therapy was in its best interest.
Do you feel the shock therapy has worked for the party so far?
I won't be impertinent enough to add two and two, but the best thing is she has reached out to the doctors today.
Had she
I
reached
said
out
that,
to you when you decided to quit the party? Did she reach out to you as well when you decided to quit the party? Was there any, um, uh, you know, request made for you to stay back and continue when you decided to quit the TMC as well as
obviously,
politics?
obviously, she was sorry to lose and she felt that this was pretty embarrassing. I mean, anybody would have felt embarrassing and that I should stay back. I felt bad, but once I have decided, it took me a month to decide. From the 9th, I've been feeling this revulsive horror at what has happened and the way it was handled and the trigger of women reclaiming the night, the streets, people hitting the streets, and a spontaneous expression of public angst. That last one I have not seen in 70 years.
You
I've seen
served
all
as,
sorts of,
sure,
but I've
continue.
not seen angst.
You served as a bureaucrat at central posts and otherwise. So my question to you is, can the system be changed? Everyone has been talking about the systems, including the protesting junior doctors. They're saying that the health system itself is rotten. And we've seen that in the education department here in West Bengal with the SSC scam, which is under investigation. And we're witnessing it in the health department right now. So do you see a way forward where the system can be, restructured and changed, and these black holes can be removed?
Where the health sector is concerned, it is pretty obvious that a caucus was running the show. The real show means the transfers, postings, etc., was being run by a caucus. And I've written quite straight and tactlessly in my letter that this caucus should have been smashed in the first stage. When somebody embarrasses you in politics, you smash the person's root of power. And that was, I don't know why this was not done. I was in Parliament on the 9th when it happened, and when I came back a couple of days later, I found this state of unrest in Kolkata, which rose to a peak within a couple of days on the 14th night. Having seen it, having seen this anger, I actually sneaked out on the 14th night to see for myself what was happening. And I found things that made me think. These girls are our girls. These women are our women. And why are they so upset? Why is it that a very short social media message could get so many thousands and hundreds of thousands out on the streets? And that set me thinking that one of the reasons which I've written in my letter is that there is a popular angst against the government. That's one.
Uh,
And then there are other reasons also. There are other
do
reasons
you
also.
do you feel that this is the first time the people of West Bengal have showcased their angst in like on the streets, on the roads, or do you feel that this has happened in the past and history is repeating itself?
I have seen so many movements that will take me years to narrate, from the time of Jayaprakash Narayan, from the Naxalite movement, from so many movements and others, and I have walked those paths also before I became a civil servant and forgot what politics is all about, and then remembered after I returned. But anyway, now I have not seen such a sustained and spontaneous display of unity and public anger. I have not seen. I have written in my letter, it's unprecedented. It's 32 days, and for 32 days they are going out. Not the woman alone, but men are going out. Swiggy delivery boys are going out. Rickshaw pullers are going out. Every section of society is out in the streets in some form or the other. some form or the other. So it's really unprecedented. That I can certify for 72 years. I don't know what happened before that.
Can this impact the Trinamool Congress electorally? Of course, I mean, in India, we have elections all year around, and we have 2026 coming up here in the state. Can this be a breakpoint for the Trinamool Congress here in West Bengal?
I hope not, and I think not. I hope not because a lot of shindy was raised about Sandesh Khali. It was it was monitored by the BJP headquarters in Delhi, the media cell, as one of those horrible things that has happened. A Muslim, they could perhaps call him a Bangladeshi. He went on raping, etc., etc. And then came out that there may have been molestations and certain excesses, but it was certainly not of the nature that it was portrayed. Because the investigation by the central agency, by the High Court, couldn't come up with much of what was said on the first days, number one. Number two, Trinamool Congress won that seat with a larger majority. Number three, Trinamool Congress was accused of Sandesh Khali, and Narendra Modi, who spares nothing, mentioned Sandesh Khali again and again, apart from defaming it in the national press. Nothing happened. What happened was that they lost Ayodhya, the trump card. They lost Joshimath and Kedarnath. They almost lost Varanasi. So how people act on impulses and symbols and action plans and how they vote are two different things. That is one of the lessons I've learned in 3 years of deep dive into politics. Why they act differently during elections, and why do they act differently between elections is something. So I don't think it'll affect her. She may lose a few points. And I said, I hope not, because the reason for going into politics, and politics is a dirty game, everybody says, everybody knows, was that I wanted to be part of the movement that stopped the BJP from coming to power in Bengal. Bengal is not Madhya Pradesh. We have a very sensitive population structure next to this thing. We have a completely different structure of society, of castelessness, a lot of other things. We don't want these poisons to come in.
In your letter, if I may quote, you have said, I'm just pulling out the letter for reference, that you did feel delusioned, and you also said that there's an increasing strong arm tactics of a section of leaders. Did you, of course, in your course of conversation with the chief minister, point out who these leaders are? Or, I mean, or are you just talking on general terms?
No, I've kept it open because they know it's better. They've known it better. People who've made quick bucks, people who built up houses, people, you remember the Bogtoi massacre?
Of course.
So you see these cases and it's repulsive. People don't like it. So I had to draw. I mean, nobody in the party, everybody's so disciplined, they don't say anything. So somebody who's not a really member of the party in that technical sense of the term, somebody who's old enough to lose everything, I had to say it. That's all. I had to say it.
That's right. So, in terms of the way the Trinamool Congress government really reacted to this incident, of course, there were a series of suspensions that came in on behalf of the health department, where the former principal of Ajipur has also resigned. There are calls for resignations of the Kolkata police commissioner, the health secretary. Do you think these measures can really bring in a change in the ground situation currently, or it's a bit too late to now take any of these steps?
Now, everything is possible. I was tactless enough, I use the word tactless enough to say, within 2 days of the incident, that suspend that fellow, the principal of the college. Now you can say you don't know the matter. Why are you saying so? I said because he is casting a dark shadow he is being insinuated against, and suspension is not punishment. It's all there in the social media. It's all there in bites. So I was gently told by senior leaders, yeah, you don't say these things publicly. I said, okay, then let me say it privately within the party. They please suspend him. Because if you had suspended him and a part of the caucus and all of this, people would have gained faith in you. Faith. You are genuine in it. Because you transferred him to what is perceived to be a better posting, people sort of got a jolt. What's going on? Here's a man who's accused of corruption and all that, and will soon be proved by the CBI. Why are they rewarding him? So these are the initial mistakes on the basis of which the later sustained explosion has taken place. So let's get to the roots. Let's get to the first fuse. Let's dampen it. I'm so glad to learn that the Chief Minister has called the agitating doctors for discussions. And like all discussions, there are going to be, heated exchanges, this and that. We have to go through it. When in public service, you don't have the luxury of remaining untainted. So somebody will throw a rotten tomato at you the day you entered. I mean, if you enter the IAS, you'll see it for yourself, what I'm saying. So that is part of public life. That is part of public. So I'm so glad that this has happened. And as I said, that this should have been done earlier.
Could you have stayed back within the party and ushered this change that you hope for now in the future? Could you have stayed back and done that?
Frankly, I was not within the party. I don't know why people say this. I was not within the party in that technical sense of the term. I was not holding any post. I was what we call an adjunct. I was a veranda, okay, at the balcony. So I'm not part of the main structure. I was an additional structure. So I could have stayed back and I could have gone on getting first class airfare at any time and got on some other little perks and could have gone on. But there's some disturbing fact called conscience in my heart. It's a very bothersome thing. And I felt my conscience said, don't do it. Get out. Get out before it's too late.
So what next, sir? How do you plan to go forward now? What next?
Write and fight. Write and fight. Write wherever I can. If the print offers, I'll write for the print also.
Of course you can. We would appreciate your opinion pieces. We have that open, so you can always send in your opinion pieces to us, and we'll be happy to publish it. That, of course, remains open.
What I have as an additional experience is what many would not have. You see, you and I and everyone else, we are boats floating on the ocean of politics. Okay? It's the tides that determine which way we go. It's a big determinant. And we all see it from top down. I took a deep dive. When I was there for 3 years. I've seen it all. I've seen the currents, the cross currents, the counter currents. And my op-eds are more substantiated by facts rather than speculations. One gets wiser. And I said that 3 years, they could have given me a graduation certificate. No? Or do they take 4 years? No. I don't know. They could give me a graduation certificate for being in politics for 3 years. It's a very, very difficult experience. But for some, it's exhilarating. The power, this and that. But you forget that I had a red light car at 22, 23. So that doesn't matter much. And I'm pretty good in driving my 9-year-old battered car. And it's pretty okay, yeah. I mean, what does it matter? So there's a time to call it a day. But I am with those who are fighting for democracy. I am with those who are fighting for secularism. I don't leave their side. But I don't take cover under their flag. That's it.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. It was really kind of you to give us your time this late in the night, but thank you so much for opening your heart up about this entire Arjikar incident that has shaken West Bengal. Thank you for speaking to the print.
Thank you.